Yeah, so we got to reshoot this video because I kind of messed it up. I'm not going to lie. But today we are going to be giving 5. I want to quantify it just so that I don't get disorganized and this video doesn't run over 30 minutes. But I probably didn't put it in the title. But we're going to give 5 main reasons, and they all kind of tie into each other in a chronological order on why you're probably losing or you're struggling. Not losing, because that's a little harsh, but you know, why are you struggling? Whether it's to get out of a plateau or whatever you want to call it, like why you're stuck in platinum or what you're doing. Because like I saw a guy that was master the other day and he was like 1200 MR. You know, he came on my stream. Actually, I'm not lying. Swear to God, came on my stream. He was on like the 1200 range, I think, and he needed, I guess he was asking for help. So I said, fuck it. I watched his replays, and the dude looked like he could do combos, and he was solid. Like he wasn't dropping hard shit. He was doing decent drive rush cancels. Whether they were luck or not, we'll never know. But he was actually doing his thing, hit confirming and ever. The problem was though, it's just like, I guess he was overthinking, or there was certain things he was doing that was causing him to lose. And I'm like, bro, you play better than some people that are like 16. You just, it's just like, I don't know. It's just certain things and habits you do that are literally the smallest thing can make or break a game. Like I remember, like I was struggling in 15. I made like 2 of these adjustments, and then like I didn't have a problem getting back to 15 because that's like a reality check. Once you hit master, bro, it's hell. Like hitting master is like congrats, because once you get to master, you go to players that have invested as much time or just as much time and kind of know the inner workings of the game to some extent. Like when we're at 15 and higher, we're gonna go over the first tip. I have a little notepad over here. Anywho, first thing is not using your normals. So I noticed a lot of my success came from when I started to use normals, and we can even go to, well, we're gonna stay with read, right? And what I mean is, right, so I was told, I actually had a book training session, and I was told that you kind of want to aim to hit your normals to kind of be as close to hitting as possible, right? Like you want to hit them at the max range. And even if you are using them, you're not using them right, because you shouldn't be using this like right here. I mean, unless you dug in, but consistently you shouldn't be like this, right? You're probably want to jab, use something. So you want to use a proper normal. So it's either you're not using the proper normals or you're not using them at all. And what I mean by that is like, you're not playing this game, right? So I feel like fighting games in general, you're not playing keep out, but you're fighting to kind of keep your range. And even if you're not, because I think a lot of people are like, if I'm not hitting somebody, they be feeding for a hit, or they be feeding for bigger hits. Like, oh, they get a counter hit here, but they actually want a combo. They be feeding for this crouching eye rush, whatever. No, bro, sit here and wait, poke, right? As your opponent gets annoyed, even if they're blocking, right, you're keeping your space at minimum, because the goal is to get the other person in the corner. That's literally the goal. I mean, it's to win, but mostly you're fighting for territory space. And then once the person in the corner, especially in this game, is fucking over with, right? So you're most likely walking back, or you're not hitting enough, and you notice people are taking up a lot of your space and you can't do anything about it, right? They're not fucking off. That's where you got to keep them at bay with certain buttons, right? And then as you do that, they're going to start trying to hit buttons on you, doing the same shit you're doing. And that's when you wait. So you're both kind of waiting till one person clicks the wrong button, whiffs a button, and then boom. Another misconception. When you see pros like punish, counter, jabs, dude, counter hit is different, right? That's obviously a mistake. Not a mistake, but that's obviously like you hitting the person, your button hitting the person's button before theirs comes out, or during the startup of their button. That's what counter hitting is, during the startup or at the frame. However, punish counter is when you're hitting somebody in the recovery, right? If you ever see pros with punish a jab, like normals like these, like normals, bro, that shit is on accident most of the time, unless they're in like a spot, unless they shimmy and they see the jab, or they're in like a spacing trap or some shit, which I might make a video for that entirely. But you see how hard it is to hit on purpose? Like, that's why in most cases they're looking for a hit, but they're looking to see whether it's a counter hit or a punish counter, because depending on that, the frame data varies and they can do a certain type of combo. But it's not like they're really sitting here looking like, I'm gonna whiff punish this jab. No, it's timing and spacing, right? They're doing shit during this range. See how that catches every time? That's like damn near a spacing trap. If they don't hit like a crouching medium, and even then, right? All right, so watch this, right? Do you want better? Let's have him do a crouching medium kick, right? Look what happens when he does a crouching medium kick, to prove my point as well, right? He gets counter hit. It's just a matter of hitting buttons after certain buttons and knowing that if they don't respect it, they're probably gonna get counter hit. Or if they don't do specific situations, it's almost like you're applying pressure, literally, so that they feel pressure to do something. But another thing that I kind of barely mentioned, and it ties directly into our second point, is relying on gimmicks or specials. So I'm gonna actually switch back to Marissa to kind of show you, but we can do a Kuma too. You're overly relying on specials in order to either advance you forward or to get hits. Like I used to play Marissa, right? And if I play any character with a fireball, bro, you best believe full screen, I'm gambling. Like I basically would fucking play slot at the highest level, not the highest level, but to the greatest degree. I would do this shit. Like I literally do that shit and pray that they throw a fireball. Like that's a terrible, you're never gonna win consistently unless you get really lucky, which is what happened, by the way. I got the 1850 playing like that. I ain't gonna say a nigga stayed there, but I got there playing like that, right? Like especially on knockdowns, I roll up, I dry rush and do this. That's all I'm doing. I still do it to this day, but it's more tame. because like honestly, I can't be bothered to play fireball games all day, right? It doesn't have to knock them down. This just has to hit, so we're back in range, right? But even then, that's still a terrible habit because, mind you, the person sits here and waits for it, right? We're gonna have Akuma jabbing the guy, right? See, punish counter. See, it's so like risky because they could DI it, they could anti-air it. There's like a bunch of different names and ways they can go about countering it. Or the easiest thing they could do, because it's Marissa and everybody does this, neutral jump. Literally, bro, you can neutral jump all of Marissa's kit down there and get a punish, especially if you forward jump, right? But by doing this, you're handicapping yourself to only doing certain names, and it works for certain people. But the problem is when you play people that are on their shit. Example, I cite my sources. I was playing Thunder D Langus, or he used to go by Joe Rogan. He was playing Ryu, I was playing Marissa, and I kept throwing his Gladius out because literally like all my game plan with Marissa was just Gladius specials, just any special you could think of. Even this sometimes, not as much though, right? And I'm doing this, right? And this motherfucker kept literally with Ryu, he kept heavy kicking it. And I don't know if you know what Ryu's heavy kick looks like. That's why I feel like the motherfucker was disrespecting me. But I mean, fuck it, right? That's how it feels. You know when somebody's playing you with like half effort, this motherfucker literally sat here, did that like 5 times. My dumb ass kept doing it because that's how deep I was in this dumbass mindset of like, it's gonna work eventually. Like, stop forcing shit till it works. But if the shit's not working, stop it and find something else. The problem is you don't know what else works, and that's what I'm saying. In order to even get your opponent to open up to your other buttons, you have to start light, then go medium. There's a lot of instances where it could happen, but very few times, unless you find another player like you, that you're gonna find a player just throwing out big body stuff. You have to get them to the point of wanting to do it, right? You have to do other shit that's punishable. And it's also all about spacing too. Like I said last time, you want to space them properly. Like, you don't want to hit Superman punch maybe right here at the max range it hits, right? But this shit is very whiff punishable, and it's a bunch of moves like that. Even with Akuma, the demon flip, you start doing it too much, somebody might wake up level 3, or they might just sit here and wait for it in DP. At the point in which it gets countered, bro, you're probably doing the shit too much if you've been getting away with it. Now, if you just started the match and the person's just on that time and cool. But even then, along with doing specials, because you're assuming a certain player might play a certain way, or it wins against a certain play style, right? Who's to say they're going to use that? And that's where the next tip comes in, not having a game plan, or not being a blank canvas, right? Already having a premeditated game plan. Like, hey, I play a lot of Ryus and I beat them this way, so motherfucker, 9 times out of 10, I could beat you this way. Just because the last 10 Ryus you play love to abuse this shit or something like that doesn't mean this one is. So if you're going to the match preemptively, just like, this isn't a bad thing, but like trying to whiff punish that and he never draws it, 1, you're wasting mental stack, and 2, you're probably gonna lose, especially if you don't use buttons to punish it and you're trying to only Gladius. And even then, this breaks for Gladius, but you're trying to only Gladius or do whatever you want to do, right? You can name any move. I'm just using Gladius because I'm playing Marissa right now, right? But along that, we're on to the last 2 points. This one is big. This one is not being optimal, and optimal does not necessarily mean damage, because that shit could get sticky. And I feel like optimal is anything that'll kill in most situations, right? Like, or anything that'll get you to where you want to be. I think optimal can be defined in many ways, but like, to me, it's the best situation, or it's the best combo for the situation, right? Whether that's situations based on resources, area, or just damage. If you're trying to kill, nigga, anything that kills is optimal, especially if it's final round, bro. If it kills, who gives a fuck? Or let's say, for example, right, when I first played Ryu, I used to do this all the time. I don't know, mainly because I play Bison too, like barely, but like mainly because Marissa, this is her B&B, medium. That's like the easiest way to pressure. When you crouch and dry rush, boom, boom, and yeah, but obviously with Ryu, that's not a thing. Boom, boom. That shit is so trash. Unless that shit is ass, right? When really I should have been doing this the whole time, or some variation of this, right? Now, depending on the situation, like I said, you said I did heavy, right? So let's look at the frame data, right? Boom. Heavy is -45, right? Now this is good if I'm trying to get range on him, right? Because if I do, right, if I'm trying to get back into the zone in battle, right, I hit him with this, cancel it in the engineer. And really, you can do any version, right? But however, this version might do more damage, right? But in a situation where I get it in the corner, right, I get a safe jump, right? Watch this. If I use light instead of heavy, I get a safe jump, right? Anytime this hits, it's a safe jump while the opponent's grounded. Now in the air, you have to use heavy, I believe, in order, like if the opponent's in the air on a wall, like, hold on. See, minus 42, right? You see what I'm saying? But let's say I'm in the corner, right? Damage wise, I might be able to do a better combo, but at the end of the day, I know that the combo needs to end in something like that to get me out of the corner. Unless you just want to stay in the corner or you're about to kill. Or even then, you could do some wild shit like this, right? You could... like that. Now, I would say that's less optimal because it uses a lot of drive gauge for no reason when you could have just done the other thing to do similar damage and keep most of your drive gauge. But the point I'm trying to make is you want to do the best combos for your situation. And what that leads to, you not doing optimal shit, whether it's damage or actual whatever wise, you're giving a person more chance to live. Even if you're doing a combo that gives you the most corner carry, right? Right? They say you're doing a combo that gets you the most corner carry, right? That's game. You get somebody in the corner, that might be game, depending on what they do or what situation they're in. For the most part, it's game, period, because you have corner pressure, especially if you know how to really keep people in the corner. That's GG. So let's say you drop it. The more combos you drop or the less optimal you are, the more chances you're giving somebody to live. You're giving more interactions. Like in a perfect world, you only need like 2, 3, 4 at max to kill somebody. It shouldn't take more than 4 interactions. If you find yourself dropping combos or just keep doing dumb shit like this, you got to step out of your comfort zone. I know you could do the easy shit, but you have to practice the slightly harder shit at some point. And even then, my Ryu's not fully optimal. But to an extent though, like I said, it only really takes a smooth 3 interactions for me to kill. If you're finding yourself always losing or always barely losing at whatever point, right? And you can go back in your replays and look at that, because I'm not saying you have to do the most perfect combo every situation, because that shit takes work. Just do what you can do. Like sometimes the optimal combo might be like 100 damage more, 200 damage more, which is important, I guess, if you're trying to kill, but who gives a shit? If it's that much harder, like me, there's some combos I probably don't do that could do, but there's other combos that don't do as much less damage, so it's just like fuck it, who gives a shit, right? I'd rather do something I could do consistently too, but also on your downtime practice you can't do consistently, so that you can now do that and have some variance in your game and know what you're doing. The last thing, which is super duper simple, is just execution. So it doesn't matter how optimal or the optimal combos you know, if you can't execute them in a match. So if you find yourself dropping an ass of combos like too much, go back into training and practice that motherfucker. If you what I do is I go to training mode and then I hit boot up rank. So as soon as I'm out of ranked, in between matches, I'm in training mode with your character or whoever you're trying to practice. If you drop like a game winner with Marissa, bro, the first thing I do is, bro, to make sure I'm not tripping, I drop it like, let's say twice, because sometimes it happens once, right? Bro, first thing I do, I'm like, all right, bro, boom, boom, boom. I'm practicing like 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 times just to make sure that I'm not ass at the game, which I am, by the way. But yeah, that one's pretty simple. Just practice execution. It doesn't matter all the shit you know if you don't know how to execute it, when to execute it. So now you have replay takeovers, so it's much easier to recreate scenarios. But if not, go in a lab and try to recreate the same scenario and seeing what you could do in that situation, right? But yeah, that's about it. Not too crazy of a video. Like I said, I kind of ran out of ideas. I was gonna do a neutral guide, but I'm like, I feel like that's gonna be a longer video, and I kind of like to make shorter videos. So if I can find a way to compress it, or if y'all just really want it, I'll get something working. But I do want to make my own version of like a neutral guide. But yeah, y'all let me know what kind of video you want to see next. Next video might be some gameplay of me just playing Marissa, because I'm gonna stream tonight. So yeah, y'all let me know what you want to see next. If y'all want me to go over some people's replays at like, you know, a lower level, if y'all are like plat diamond, or if you want like coaching or some shit, I don't know, bro. I just be doing shit, bro. Just let me know. You can join the Discord and like, you know, hit me up. You know, I would love to review replays and do different things like that. I actually did it on stream. I spent like an hour and a half on stream reviewing somebody's replays, just because like I enjoy like trying to help people. I ain't gonna say I'm like in a space, like I'm not no Capcom Cup champ or nothing, but like I do like kind of trying to help people get better in any way that I can, whether it's the smallest shit, like whatever it is, bro. It's just a sense of pride you get, help people, in my opinion. But yeah, y'all let me know what you want to see next. If you want to see that neutral video, or just post some video ideas, bro. But I would gladly do a session where I just watch everybody's replays, coaching. Check me out on Twitch, by the way. I'm probably live tonight. Subscribe to.